Well, good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Bobby Brown Show. How you doing today? Your boy was featured on the Revolutionary Blackout Network. I was the starting piece of a topic of discussion when it came to Peter Dow, and my man Compton J featured my video. So I want to thank Luca for Clemente for letting me know that they were doing that because I had no clue they was going to do that. And when you hear somebody's featuring you on a show, you go back and watch to see, because you don't want nobody talking about you, and you know how I am. You talk about me, I'm gonna talk about you. but let me explain some things about me and the Brothers Revolution RBN. There's a lot of beliefs. Pretty much majority of their beliefs, I believe too. Me, I'm more of a pro-black first and working class second. I think they're working class first and pro-black second. They believe the working class coming together will be more powerful in moving uh, black motivations, means, and plans and strategies and things like that. And that and 9 times 10 that could be true, but me, I'm the type of person we can't depend on nobody. We can't have the mindset that I have to have your approval. I have to have you to join me. I'm gonna do this whether you with me or not. Somebody got to light the fire, and I'm not waiting on you to join the barnyard. I light the fire and warm myself up. But but that's just that. Most of the time we agree on majority everything, and sometimes some things we don't. And you know me, I got a little conservative in me. I got a little lefty in me. I got a little in the middle. I'm not on no side. I'm me. I'm a human being with my own ideas, with my own views. I don't take sides. I'm of a mentality of taking over by any means necessary for the sake of the people. And that's just where I am about that. Which brings me to this particular article. Let me pull this bad boy up. See, people are getting upset. I mean, I understand for my pro immigration people out there, I can get where you're coming from, but my philosophy is a little bit different. All right. In my opinion, personally, immigration does more to harm my community than help. Number one, they don't push these immigrants in the white influent neighborhoods. They don't push them in their own neighborhoods. They got a habit of pushing them in the black neighborhoods, which kind of destabilize the black neighborhood because we want our own neighborhoods. We want our own black towns. We want our own black banks. We want our own black businesses booming back up. We want black housing. We're not going to discriminate, but we blacks want to run our own, just like the Chinese, just like the Asians. You got Chinatown, you got little Italy, you got little Haiti. I mean, blacks want and black Americans want to go back to having their own. We realized that segregation had its limit, and we need to go beyond segregation, and that's why we cry hard for reparations because we need to build our own, and we don't need nobody coming in to water it down. And so when you have black residents in a black neighborhood, when they find out that you're going to put people without our consultation, without our agreeing to, you're just going to dump pretty much. And that's what you're doing. You're dumping these people in our neighborhoods. It's an insult to us. All these neighborhoods out here, you got to dump them on black people. You got the Jewish neighborhoods, you got the Arab neighborhoods, you got the Asian neighborhoods, but you got jumping on black. You got the Latino neighborhoods. You ain't going to dump them on the Latinos. You're going to dump all the Latinos in the black neighborhoods. You don't dump the Haitians in the Latino neighborhoods. You don't dump the Africans in and I hate to use the word dump. They don't do that more so with Africans, but in Haiti, but they sure do that with these migrant workers. I'm in New York City. I understand. I see what's going on at the Roosevelt Hotel. I seen it. This beautiful, elaborate 5-star hotel, 5-star gallery, and money going in as a donation right off for the tax season to accommodate these people, mainly from wealthy donors. Why? Because most of the time these wealthy donors want these people coming in because they know they can get some kind of visa, some kind of permission from the city, from the state to have these people work jobs that most people think black people don't want these jobs, and black people do want these jobs. Everybody want these jobs. The problem is they don't want to work these jobs for cheap labor. And they understand that you're bringing in these people not to exploit them, but you're bringing these people to exploit them for cheap labor. New York got so many abandoned buildings, so many new apartments to come up, so many new buildings, high-rise buildings, so many things need to be done in infrastructure and things like that in New York City and New York State. And they don't want to give it to the people who are certified, qualified, got the paperwork, the documents to do these jobs. Why? Because that documentation, that paperwork, that certificate means that you got to pay me my value. And these jobs pay $30, $40 an hour. But no, Mayor Eric Adams, with his pump behind, and the rest of the city council want to move these people in. They know it's costing on the city and taxing the city. They want to move these people into these elaborate hotels. Forget the homeless that's around the hotel. I showed you a video recently about that. Forget them, putting them in. Let's get these people from these other states in here, and let's give them a temporary work pass. And that's what he's begging Biden for. Biden hasn't given it to him yet. He wants a temporary work pass so these people can go out and get these jobs without having the proper documentation. Now, without being citizens. Over the citizens. You putting these people in elaborate hotels, but you tell the citizens to go to some freaking rundown, God-forsaken shelter that nobody wants to live in because it stink, it's smelly, nobody really cleans like they're told, and you got to deal with different kind of people in the homeless shelter. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. So when you got people who you would tend to think is anti-immigrant, it's not I'm anti-immigrant. I'm just saying that they need to go through the proper channel to get the things that I need. If you want that good paying job, you want that decent job, you're not going to skip the line to get paid cheap and overlook the citizens. You're just not going to do it. And I'm not going to allow you to do it. You're not going to sit there and let somebody do bricklaying here in the United States. And they got the proper documentations to bricklay a development, and you're going to bypass them to get some immigrant who probably have that kind of pass but don't have the proper documents and never went through the strings to get that certification. No, they need to go through just like everybody else. And then you're going to pay them $10, $15 an hour when you're supposed to be paying these people $25, $30 an hour. And see, the corporate America loves this because it saves them money. Not only do they get a tax write-off for hiring these workers, but 9 times out of 10, these workers not paying taxes. And 9 times out of 10, it's just a huge tax benefit. The wealthy, they talk like they don't want these immigrants here, but they want these immigrants here because they want to use these immigrants for cheap labor. It's not the fact that people don't want these jobs. I don't care what job it is. The dirtier, the more money you usually make. And they don't want to pay it. So they lean over and push these immigration policies and support these immigration policies. Mayor Adam and his team of corporate, New York is the corporatist capital of the world, Wall Street, the whole 9 yards. He's doing this to cater to them. He's asking for the work order to cater to them so these people go out here and work our jobs and get paid less money. Yeah, I say it just like that. Our job, because these are jobs that should be made available to the American citizens who've worked so hard to qualify for that job. And I'll say it again. I don't care how dirty the job is. I don't care if it's from farming, from cleaning bathrooms, from security, from executive officer. If you're a U.S. citizen and you got the proper documents, you should be having those jobs made available for you if they're here in the United States. You shouldn't be skipping over, you come, all right, you got a doctor's degree from Nigeria, so you get to come and be a doctor here in the United States, and there's a doctor here in the United States that have the same credential. You're not even a citizen, but they are, and they want you to practice at this New York State hospital. Come on, guys. Anyway, let me get into the story. Chicago resident speaks out against the city helping migrants over them. It's not that nobody want to help the migrants and we don't understand what they probably came through. Most of them probably are seeking asylum because of drug lords, drug dealers. Some of them, they're leaving because they're their homeland tore up, and some of them don't want to stay and build and strengthen and refortify, and they don't have no resources because the United States ain't giving them none. Instead, the United States would rather have them come over the border in masses into the United States and give them something then versus helping them now in their own country, knowing very well that they probably destabilized that country and put those people in that position. Our leaders, our country probably did that. Destabilized that region. Now this region don't have nowhere to go. There's no job. There's nothing because we destroyed everything with our unmighty touch. Said a lot so fast. Let me calm down. These people are put in a situation where, first of all, everybody want the American dream. Everybody want to come to America. Everybody want to come to America because America is all that. America, Hollywood, hip-hop, culture, you name it. Bad, boy, we bad. I mean, we bad in every area. Sports, finances, you name it. We are it. The only problem that ain't it is our federal government and our political leaders. They're it all right if you put a SH in front of it. And I ain't cuss. I'm just, messing with your mind. That's what they are. And they full of bull. Put the bull in front of the it with the SH in front of it. They're all full of it. And we're going to go over this article. And first, we're going to watch this video in the article and then talk about this a little bit. Chicago resident speaks out against city helping migrant over them. That's the problem in America. And a lot of people laughed at the right because the right was saying our view, some of the people on the right, probably most of them, when they say nationalists, they wasn't necessarily talking about white nationalists or black nationalists. A lot of them were saying nationalist mindset is, let's keep the money here to build here. Let's go back to Made in USA. Let's make sure the citizens get what they need before we send money to citizens overseas to help them with what they need. That's what they were calling, some of them, a lot of them, nationalism. Nationalism is we need to keep the money invested into the people of America, into the country America, not to Joe Who and Boo 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 and all them and Ukraine and Prukrane and Frokrane and Dockrane. No, U.S. first. And a lot of people saying, oh, that's uncompassionate. No, it's uncompassionate when you don't take care of your own. That lacks compassion. All right, so let's watch this video real quick. Come on, Bitcho. Come on. Probably play a commercial first. Let's go. I'll tell you, that's that dial-up, boy. I got that dial. No, I'm just kidding. Come on, let's go, man. Slowpoke Rodriguez, let's go. All right, let me see if I can pull that up myself. This thing right here. All right.
42, the pandemic-era border rules expire at midnight Eastern Time. They allowed the U.S. to turn away asylum seekers to avoid the spread of COVID. Now, new policies will go into effect that include...
Now it wants to play. This thing is slow as molasses. Here we go.
Title 42, the pandemic-era border rules expire at midnight Eastern Time. They allowed the U.S. to turn away asylum seekers to avoid the spread of COVID. Now, new policies will go into effect that include criminal charges for illegal crossing and ankle monitoring for families awaiting an asylum ruling.
So, criminal charges if you go over the border. Now, some of us don't believe in open borders. Some of us people don't believe that there should be borders and people should be able to free to go across any place they want to go. And I understand that. I understand that. But the problem is we got to account for these people when they come into the country. We got to keep an overhead. We got to keep a track. We got to keep a following. That's why they put the ban on them, the whole 9 yards, or they criminalize them and put them in jail, pretty much to send them back. I'm not a fan of people fleeing their country. I'm a fan of people who's deciding to stay, to build their country, to fight, to resist what's bringing their country down. The real freedom fighters, not the freedom fleers. You're fleeing your country. I support those who say I'm in it. I'm gonna get my country back. I'm not gonna leave, come and gun up and come on the come up over here, and then not even think about going back unless I'm retired and I build a house in that area, but it's still destabilized. You know, I'm not a fan of that. You're waiting for somebody else to come and reshape the country when it could have been you. See, black people couldn't afford to go. They tried to do it with the Liberia thing. They want us to go back to Africa. We already here, man. We was here before you got here. We're not fleeing our country. We're going to stay, fight, and build and take our country back. And we don't have enough immigrants doing that because of fear, intimidation, loss, poverty, you name it. So they come to America and they go through anything. They'll go through water, rain, sleet, snow, almost dying, snakes, you name it. And I applaud that to come to America. But there's a proper way to come into this country, and not to do it is going to cost you and the American people who are already freaking tapped out. You know, let's keep it going. Fair use.
Why would any leader put our black communities already riddled with crime at further risk by placing unvetted non-taxpayers steps away from our seniors, our children?
Here at home, the migrant crisis.
Now, I know some of you blue, no matter who you, and even some socialists say, look at you, you guys sound worse than Trump. Vet, we need to vet. We need to know who's coming to this country. We do. We do. We have no way of checking the background. We don't do that with the Africans. We don't do that with other people coming to this country. You come in here, we're going to check you out. You're going to go through a process. If you're a criminal from another country trying to come to the United States, you ain't coming in here, and you shouldn't be able to come in here putting other people at harm, putting this country at harm. You need to go back wherever you came from. If you was an embezzler, if you drug habits, things like that, stay over there. Why are you coming here? Even if you're a productive citizen, thank you. And we want productive citizens, but there's a process. You can't skip everybody. You can't just do whatever you want to do. We got people that's going to get these visas and everything, come in the proper way to become Americans, and then you got some people just coming in all willy-nilly. And they're not vetted. Y'all sound like Trump. I guess we sound like Trump. People need to be vetted. When you come into a co-op building and you apply for a co-op building or co-op apartment or a Michelin apartment, they're going to vet you. You're not going to be a part of this board unless we know who you are. We're going to do a credit check, the whole 9 yards. We're going to know who you are. Most people are doing it, but jobs are like that. All right, you want this job? This is a pretty esteemed position, so we can't just have anybody in those positions, so we're going to have to check you out. What is wrong with checking you out? Well, the problem is there's too many coming in to check out. And that put a weight on the administration, a weight on the American people. Yet, at the same time, people get mad at Ron DeSantis because he's using E-Verify. All I say is whatever happened in Florida with these people not on a construction site, black people go get those jobs and force them to pay you what you deserve. Because the reason it's still empty, the reason those lots are still empty right now is because these people don't want to go fill those jobs with the people that deserve the job and the pay. They want to fill these jobs with people who just want to take anything, happy to have anything, and exploit them and take advantage of them when they need to be having people in there that's willing to work hard, but you got to pay them their value. Let's keep going.
Has resulted in both support and pushback.
Casey Cronus is at Union Station with the details.
When buses are sent from Texas, they stop here. City officials confirm that only one migrant bus has come to Chicago from Texas since January. That bus arrived Tuesday, but officials are anticipating there will be more in the coming weeks. Across Chicago's neighborhoods, word that more migrants are on the way is sparking mixed reactions.
They will be fully taken care of, yet here in our community, we aren't taken care of.
The city's plan to temporarily house several hundred migrants.
And that's the problem. That's the overall problem. That's the problem here in New York. You go all out to fully take care of them people, mainly because you're going to use them and exploit them while they're here. But you won't take care of the people that's already here. Why? Because you can't use them and exploit them because they're here. You don't understand this, people? Our company are vultures. Come to America. They come to America today. Da-da, da-da. Great Neil Diamond song. Neil Diamond. They come to America. And I can see why. America is a beautiful place to be. Freedom and justice for all when they're on their, when we're on point. Sometimes we're not on point. Black Americans built this beautiful haven, this beautiful dream, all for free labor, and everybody get the benefit from it, but them. But us. We got these migrant buses, people coming to America through hell, high water, sleet, or snow. I understand how they get in here. Some of it is not so easy. Through a hot desert, risking getting ate by coyotes and snakes and you name it out there, scorching to death, going through deep rivers, crocodiles and stuff like that. I get it. These are true stories. And I know my black brothers don't want to understand this, but these people do go through hell and high water to get to this country because we made it that way. We made it so good that they want to come here. They'll rather trash their country and leave it. Oh, they'll take pride in it when they get here, but they'll leave it hanging by coming here instead of fighting for it there and asking for the United States to fight for it, just like the Ukrainians are asking the United States to fight for something we ain't got nothing to do with. Something we ain't going to benefit from it. We not going to get one red dime of it, none of it. We, trying to topple Russia ain't helping us, and we keep pouring money in there over and over and over. We sending money over there when we could be sending money to help these people fight to maintain their country, build it into a beautiful haven, so beautiful that we can come there and visit or even stay. Now, my whole point is there's a right way to come in this country, and there's a not so right way to come in this country. Number two, there's people in need in this country. And for our government to go all out, carte blanche, for migrant workers and not the black people of Chicago that's already suffering from a whole host of needs, get out of here with this mess. Let me keep going.
At the former South Shore High School has garnered pushback from a group of residents.
Our specific frustration lies in the continuous and blatant disregard for the safety and overall quality of life of black residents, as many of these migrants have been dumped in our neighborhoods without a plan in place to monitor and house them long term.
They've even filed.
Now, that's what it is. All these numbnuts south of the border, politicians, been dealing with this mess for eons. And most of the sanctuary cities don't understand what they go through every day, trying to deal with the trafficking, the from money trafficking, sex trafficking, the people trafficking. A lot of these people are trafficked like product. They put them in a van and close the door, truck close the door, trust them. I mean, the horrible ways. Some people die trying to get across the border. Some people dig tunnels, you name it. So many ways people are trying to get to this country. Yet when they get here, we don't sit them in a place where they can go through the proper channels to get here if they can, because there's got to be a criteria. It should be a criteria. We got residents here right in these districts, in these neighborhoods, that's going through hell and high water. I volunteer and work at a senior center, and sometimes they can't even make the funding to get the food to feed these seniors because we don't want these seniors spending their money on food. We want them to find a place to get a hot meal at least twice a day, breakfast, lunch, and maybe fix your own dinner at home. Keep the money in your pocket for something more serious. Can't get the financing for that. Can't get the financing for after school program. Can't get the finances to help with housing, healthcare, and things like that, helping people stay in their homes, helping people keep their lights on, and things like that. We don't have the finances yet. People like AOC and Jamal Bowman saying, we're going to make sure we got you. They ain't got nobody here in the Bronx. These people come here and, like I said, we don't know who you're going to get. Not everybody nice. There is a percentage of that you're going to get as percentage of people coming to this country that has criminal mentality. And Trump tried to tell y'all that, but then you start looking at Trump as a bigot. And he is a bigot, but I got what he said when he mentioned that, when they, they're not sending the best and brightest. But dude, we don't want just the brightest in here or the best. We want fairness. We want people who want a shot in growing and developing into this country. And again, I don't mind, especially when it comes to my black immigrant brothers. I love them. I just don't like when they get off cold. I don't like when it's a fact that black people, Native Black Americans, FBAs, fall hard for you to get the opportunity to come in this country. And when you come in this country, you link up with white supremacy instead of your black brothers and sisters. That's my problem. Now let me keep going.
Filed a lawsuit against the city in an attempt to halt the plan. A spokeswoman with the city's legal team tells us they cannot comment on pending litigation. Meanwhile, in Pilsen, Dr. Evelyn Figueroa has been providing medical screenings to migrants who are living in a nearby respite site. Before relocating this week, they were sleeping in the lobby of a police station.
For example, at Precinct 12, where we had over 70 people, there was one bathroom for all of them. And people just, congregating closely, trying to survive, but really struggling in an extreme way.
Figueroa is also the founder of the Pilsen Food Pantry and is collecting necessary items for families.
Inflatable air mattresses, pillows, towels, underwear, toiletry kits. Those are the biggest things that we need.
Figueroa tells us her organization is also accepting monetary donations and says they are in need of...
Now, let me bring myself back. I don't know. Now, honestly speaking, to bring you and your family through that process is so dangerous. I couldn't risk my family. I would rather take up my arms and fight to the death the people who's trying to overtake my country. The people who are trying to turn my country over his head. The drug dealers and stuff like that and the kingpins or whatever. People want to take over. I'm not talking about ideologies. I'm just talking about people using brief muscle power to take your country away from you. And running is not, that's not the proud way to do it. The best way and the most honorable way is to fight for your country. Don't flee. But because of certain situations and circumstances, I understand that in some cases you feel you gotta flee. And what better place other than the United States? They're so open, armed, but they ain't happening in Germany. They ain't happening in Europe. They ain't happening in Scotland, Ireland, the UK. That's not happening there. We the only ones doing that. It's not happening in Canada like talking about. We the only ones that's doing that. Why is the United States so quick, fast, and open to accept these migrants all willy-nilly? Well, there's various reasons, especially from a black perspective, there's various reasons. And I went through two of them. The ability to manipulate, the ability to abuse you for cheap and free labor. I get it. I've seen some places, man, the whole entire staff that's working on these buildings are working through an organization that caters to immigrants. You ask them for your documentation, they have an NYC documentation, which is not really a valid proof. It's not a proof of residency. It proves that you probably live at a resident, but it's not a proof of residency. Or they have their card from Venezuela or Costa Rica or Colombia, or whatever. I've seen it. They don't have the proper documentation. They're what you call undocumented workers. When you say undocumented, that means they don't have any U.S. documentation proving validation that I'm a U.S. citizen. They don't have that. And they need to be taken through a process of giving them that the same way everybody else does. I get America is a melting pot and everybody want to come here. But you're gonna dump. You're gonna dump, and it's literally a dump. You're gonna take 2-3 busloads of immigrants and put them in the black neighborhoods. Why they're not working so hard to put them in the other neighborhoods? Now, heard here recently, a lot of them went into Williamsburg. That's not that. Williamsburg, Williamsbridge, Williamsburg, Brooklyn is a bougie, uppity neighborhood. Some of them went there. But a lot of them went to downtown. A lot of them came to the Bronx. They had a big old giant tent out here housing them in the Bronx. And guess what? They got carte blanche. Food, clothing, shelter, free passes to ride on the Metro car, on the buses and the trains, you name it. They got carte blanche while the homeless person can't get none of that. 3 square meals a day, you name it. The folks in the neighborhoods have a right to be upset. And we should not get mad at them because they have a right to be upset. You got this numbnut new mayor that's trying to shame black people. Well, I'm going to talk about that punk. Trying to shame black people for standing up for their neighborhood, saying, no, you ain't going to do this. You're not going to be pushing these people in the neighborhoods to pretty much water down our neighborhood from blackness, because you're not putting you're not putting a bunch of us in the Asian neighborhoods. Oh yeah, here in Chinatown, man, there's black apartment ownership, building ownership is almost unheard of. Black business ownership in the Asian neighborhood is almost unheard of in Chinatown or in the Indian neighborhoods and things like almost unheard of. They keep it locked in the Jewish neighborhoods down. And look, it's supposed to be that way. The only problem I got is when you don't let other people come to your neighborhood and enjoy your culture. That's the only problem I got. Or if somebody do want to move in your neighborhood, you try to be discriminatory toward them. That's not cool. In this situation, it's not being discriminatory. You are not even a U.S. citizen. You don't even have a job. You're not even a New York citizen, and you don't have a job. Black people are New York citizens and have jobs, and they shut them down in the different neighborhoods other than black. That's why it's important for black to stand on a square and say, hey, look, this is our neighborhood. We're going to fight to keep our neighborhood the way it is. Now, and in my mind, I say to myself, they did that about y'all. White neighborhoods did that about y'all. Yeah, well, we had a job. We were citizens. We helped build this country. And we probably started that neighborhood, and then they found some way to steal it from us. It's a known fact that has happened multiple times in our history. But these black people have a right to say, hey, they got their own neighborhoods. There's a huge Hispanic neighborhood on the other side. Why are you bringing them here instead of a neighborhood that they feel familiar with? Why over here? Because they want to water down these neighborhoods. And they want to water down the black neighborhoods. You see what's happening in Tennessee, how they're trying to be in charge of who get elected, who get put where, the state, and the local affairs of the Tennessee people over there. And I can't think of the name of the Tennessee town. Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi. pretty much black town. And they know they can't get it back halfway white or halfway black, so they trying some more slimy scumball way to try to take charge of that all black town. And the federal government is trying to do that. The Chicago mayor is trying to do that, and he's black, but yeah, he's working with them to unblack the black neighborhoods. Nobody's fighting the Hispanic neighborhood. Black people definitely not doing that. I mean, we cool, comfortable staying there, but we get a majority of the places Latinos, so of course we don't expect too many of us to be there. And vice versa. There's nothing wrong with having cultural neighborhoods. The problem is when you think your neighborhood is above the other person. Now let's get back to this lady and this article, not this lady, this article. Let me get back to this article. Give me a moment. All right.
Volunteers reporting from Union Station. Casey Cronin.
Now, these people are here. They're here. And since they're here, humanity says they need to be clothed, they need to be clean, they need to be out and about. In my opinion, out and about to figure out a way to get a little something, take it back to your own country and fight for your country. But I get it. The United States making it too lenient for anybody to come here and stay here. So my problem is, fine, stay here, but don't, federal government, you have no right to try to destabilize our neighborhoods by putting Latinos in it, a bunch of them. Same thing. I would say that about an Asian. You destabilize our neighborhood by forcibly putting Asians in our neighborhoods that we take pride in building our own communities. Asians should be proud of building their own community as any other country lineage. I like going into Chinatown. Love it. I like going to Little Italy. Some of the best pasta I ate in my life here in the Bronx. But I'm not trying to take over Little Italy. And when I go to Little Italy, or if I decide one black person decide to get an apartment down there, a house down there, shouldn't be no hating. And black people, you shouldn't be hating on these immigrants because they're sending them there. You should be hating on the federal government for the fact that they're trying to destabilize in a way your neighborhood. Chicago cities across the United States are bracing for an influx of migrant workers. Title 42 is set to expire at 11:59 p.m. on Thursday from coast to coast. This is old. Many of those cities, sanctuary cities, like New York. And see, I understand Governor Abbott. They're not sanctuary. New York claimed to be sanctuary. So why not send them? Oh, that's hateful wrong. No. I got a crisis over here on my border. And if I don't do something with all these people here, it's going to be bad. Aesthetic-wise, logistic-wise, you name it, it's going to be bad. So I have to find a way to send them. So I send them people who say we're open to migrant workers and people who are leaving their country. We're open. We're a sanctuary city. Now that getting to the point where it's frustrating mayors now that they're revisiting the laws concerning sanctuary city. When buses are sent to Chicago from Texas, their final destination is Union Station City. Officials confirmed to Fox 32. Chicago, the only one migrant has been sent to the city from the Texas border since January. That bus arrived Tuesday but they are anticipating more in the coming weeks. This comes as official as they run out of room to house migrants. Family. Hear that? They're running out of room to house migrant families, with many still sleeping on the floors or local police station. Okay. Put them back on the bus and make them go home. Oh, Rob, you're harsh. It's just my opinion. You ain't got to agree with it. My thing is, the reason Abbott sent these people over here, or DeSantis or whoever, It's because we claim to be a sanctuary that we're going to take care of them. They never claimed that. They never claimed the status of sanctuary city. But most, they're having a hard time dealing with the people coming over this border. What else is he supposed to do? I mean, there's many things some of these evil racist bastards can do, but what do you expect him to do? The least he can do is send them to a sanctuary city. That's probably what I would do. Because I'm getting tens of thousands of people in a day, man. This thing is going to break. I got to find some way to shift them across the country before this whole entire Texas southern border start to break. And I have no control. Southside residents are pushing back against the city plan to house several hundreds of immigrants at a vacant South Shore High School located on 76th Street and Constant Avenue. Look, you got a vacant house, vacant building, house the homeless, and if you do got some illegals in here, okay, you can house them, if you want to. It's empty, nobody's in it. But why you're going so all out for the immigrants and not for the homeless people or single people who have jobs like myself, no responsibility, single man, have a job? Why I can't get a classroom and turn it into an apartment? Nobody's in it. Why you can't turn it into an apartment complex like they did in Suffolk, Virginia? Suffolk, Virginia took the old Suffolk High School and made it a place to come party, gather, but yet around the place they made apartments. They made that available to the citizens of Suffolk, Virginia. Why you can't do that with Chicago? Why you got to go all out for people who are not even citizens, but you're just going to ignore the citizens of Chicago? And the citizens saying enough of that. You're not going to be doing this and ignoring our needs. Enough. And that's the whole point of this article. Enough. You can read this article. I'm not going to keep going on this long article. You can read it on your own. But the whole point is this. This land is my land. This land is your land. You know how the song goes. I'm a resident of the United States. I'm qualified and have the ability to work a job. I've got a certificate in the bricklaying and all this stuff and cement and all this stuff and piping and HVAC and all that. I got certified in that. Why you won't hire me? Why are you choosing the migrant worker over me? I know why. Because you can manipulate them and get cheap labor off them in the hopes of giving them a green card. May not give them one at all. You may give them one at all. You're giving temporary housing in this beautiful, elaborate building, but they're going to pay for that by working cheap labor. I need you to go to the 45th floor and work on the air conditioning unit. I need you to go to 47th floor and redo the whole entire piping. I did one in a week. We'll give you a little something. I've seen some of these guys work some down. The point that I'm making and the point these people in these neighborhoods mean is this is our city. And this is our neighborhood. Black people don't have black neighborhoods like we used to. And a lot of them got melted down because we allowed any kind of black person to come through this. I don't care if from England, Africa, from the islands or whatever, or South America, whatever. If you're black, you're welcome to come into black neighborhoods. We didn't keep it strictly FBA. We fought and passed laws to accommodate people coming to this country. We set up steps to come into this country. And you just doing whatever you want to come in this country and the government allowing it to happen, just come on in, forget what they built. Forget the structure, forget the ways of coming in and becoming a citizen. We worry about that later. You just come on in. Come on in, buddy. We'll worry about that later. Come on in. Guess what? You're going to be living in this neighborhood around here, a bunch of decent black people, man. They love everybody. Even the people who shoot them, they say, I love you and I forgive you. What? No. What's their ethnicity? What's their lineage? Then they need to go to that neighbor. Don't be putting them over here. We have our own needs. We have our own wants and desires and needs. And to dump somebody else's on ours, is very disrespectful. I'm still encouraging people in the community to get with their mayor and let them know we have our own problems in our own city. The money you're spending over there need to be spent over here. We're just as much a priority, if not more of a priority, than that migrant worker just coming to this country looking for work and looking for a place, looking for the American dream. I'm having a nightmare with my kids. I'm having a nightmare with, recently my nephew took his life. I'm having a nightmare. I need my kids to get the mental health issues taken care of. I need adults to get the mental health issues taken care of. I need to not be able to come out of my pocket to get this surgery done and that surgery done. I need not to come out of my pocket to spend $2,000-$3,000 for a no-bedroom apartment. No-bedroom apartment, that's a big room with a kitchen, the fish department that you got to put a bed in. They don't have a bedroom. It has a bed, but not a bedroom. We have our own issues in America that need to be solved, especially in the Black community. And for you to insult us and spit in our face by saying, hey, buddy, we got some migrant workers coming over there. We're going to go to your neighborhood and leave them there because you so love it. Nah, bro, take them over your neighborhood. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Take them over to the neighborhood where there's majority of Mexican, Latinos, and things like that around their people. I mean, we love them. We embrace them. Come visit us. But they need to be around their people in their community. You're not allowing us to come over there and droves to their community, anybody else's community. So why you want to do that to the Black community? So the bottom line is this. When it comes to immigration, I have a compassion side and a not so compassion side. We built the American dream. We put the Statue of Liberty out there, which was based off a Black woman. I'll tell you that story. We said, come one, come all. And we did. Come one, come all. Black people, FBA fought for what we call Black reinforcement. We fought hard for people from former slaves from the islands and all over the world to come into the United States and sup together and become one powerful voting bloc. Not too many of them busy crapping on us, telling us to go back to lead this country when this ain't even your country. I was born and raised here. What about you? My parents were born and raised here. What about yours? My grandparent was born and raised from here. What about yours? Oh, it stops there? And who the hell are you to tell me to leave the United States? No, bro, you get your butt up out of here. We ain't got time to be tolerating with these games that the government is playing between immigrants, Black and immigrants, and Native Blacks and migrant workers and workforce workers, those who've been in workforce. The bottom line is this. You got to come up. You've made it to the border. Republican governors and mayors sending you to sanctuary cities. My only problem is they're going to try to look at Black neighborhoods and dump them in first to try to water down Black power and Black votes and Black ingenuity and Black businesses and things like that. You see it in Harlem all the time. You go into the Spanish neighborhoods, you don't see no Black bodegas. You don't see hardly no Black stores. But you come into the Black neighborhoods in Harlem, you can see Spanish bodega, Spanish beauty supply. You can see Spanish beauty salon. You see all that. But you go into a Latino-heavy neighborhood, you don't see that much Black. And it's okay. I'm not mad at that. Your culture, build your culture in your neighborhood and take the money, the resources, and fight to get these people their homeland Black. Homeland back, not Black. So, I'm just rambling, but you guys get what I'm talking about. Black people are not going to let you just do whatever you want to do. You're not giving no money to our community. You're not setting us up for success. You're always setting us up for failure. And then you talk about you're going to bring all these people in flux into our neighborhoods, and you not have a record of doing that in other neighborhoods outside of Black? Why Black? Why? Our neighborhoods. Why not yours? Honestly speaking, I don't care who you're from, where you're from. If you are a migrant worker or if you're on a visa, temporary visa, something like that, it's always good for you to go get familiar with your people that's here in the United States. because you and your people need to be working together to go back and take home, win back that land that both of you originated from, or your lineage originated from. That's how I feel about Black America. We need to be working, busting our behind to fight to get our neighborhoods prospering, growing, expanding. That's where we need to go. Anyway, I'm Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown Show. I'll holler at you later. Talk to you. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Hit unlike if you don't like it. And if you want to support old dude, you can do it right here. You can support the stream. I'm Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown Show. This is not hate. You're dumping these people in Black neighborhoods when the Black neighborhoods are already unstable. The best thing to do to help Black people is to not put people in the neighborhood that's unstable. You put them in a stable neighborhood if you're going to put them in any neighborhood at all. Always looking at Black first, working class second. And this is a Black issue. It does affect workers and working class. It's more than just Black people that's speaking up out against this. But definitely, we ain't going to have you coming stable in our neighborhoods when you got all these other neighborhoods that you can happily send migrant workers to. Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown Show. I'll let you later. Peace.